Hi guys, today we'll be talking about the pharyngeal arches. We'll be talking about the development and later we'll also be speaking about the derivatives of these pharyngeal arches. So starting with the development, the pharyngeal arches are derived from the neural crest cells. They are a mesenchymal condensation of the neural crest cells and the intraembryonic mesoderm. This is the head bulge, the tail and the cardiac bulge. During the fourth week of development, the neural crest cells migrate to the neck region and form the pharyngeal arches. So there are 6 pharyngeal arches. However, soon after the development of these arches, the fifth one degenerates and disappears. This is the ectoderm. This is the endoderm. As you can see, there are a total of 5 pharyngeal pouches. The depressions seen over the ectodermal side are known as clefts. The ones on the endodermal side are known as pouches. There are 4 clefts and 4 pouches. These areas where the endoderm meets the ectoderm and contain the endoderm, ectoderm and mesoderm are known as the pharyngeal membranes. All the pharyngeal membranes except the fourth one disappear without remnants, and the fourth pharyngeal membrane develops to form the tympanic membrane. Now, since we know an idea of how these pharyngeal pouches and the pharyngeal arches develop, we can understand what structures are derived from these 5 pharyngeal arches. So now we're going to talk about the derivatives of the pharyngeal arches. There are 4 components in each pharyngeal arch: cartilage, muscles, nerves, and arteries. Coming to the first component, that is the cartilages. The first arch is known as the mandibular arch and its cartilage is known as the Meckel's cartilage. The Meckel's cartilage gives rise to components of the ear, that is the incus, malleus, anterior ligament of malleus. It also gives rise to the sphenomandibular ligament. It gives rise to the skull bones like the maxilla, mandible, zygomatic bones, sphenoid bone and the temporal bones. The second pharyngeal arch is known as the hyoid arch. The cartilage involved is known as the Richard's cartilage. To remember the derivatives of the Richard cartilage, we can use the mnemonic 5S. The 5S stand for stapes, styloid process, stylohyoid ligament, superior surface of hyoid, small horn of hyoid. Coming to the third arch, the derivatives of the third arch are the inferior surface of the hyoid bone and the greater horn of the hyoid bone. Finally, the fourth and the sixth pharyngeal arches together give rise to the cartilage of the larynx, except the epiglottis. The epiglottis arises from the mesoderm of the hypobranchial eminence of the fourth arch. As you can see, the blue lines indicate a connection. For example, the bones of the middle ear. Now, the incus and the malleus arise from the first pharyngeal arch and the stapes arises from the second pharyngeal arch. Similarly, for the hyoid bone, the superior surface and the small horn of the hyoid are arising from the second arch, and the inferior surface of the hyoid and the greater horn of the hyoid arise from the third arch. Coming to the muscles. From the first pharyngeal arch, we have the muscles of mastication, the mylohyoid muscle, anterior belly of digastric, tensor palatini and tensor tympani. From the second pharyngeal arch, there are muscles of facial expression, posterior belly of digastric, stylohyoid and stapedius. The third pharyngeal arch gives rise to the stylopharyngeus muscle. The fourth pharyngeal arch gives rise to the muscles of pharynx, the muscles of palate and the cricothyroid muscles. Finally, from the sixth pharyngeal arch, we have the muscles of larynx. As you can see, it is kind of difficult to remember all these muscles. Hence, to summarize and make it simpler, let us focus on specific groups of muscles. For example, the muscles of larynx. Now we know that the muscles of larynx are divided into extrinsic and intrinsic group of muscles. The extrinsic group of muscles consisting of the infrahyoid and the suprahyoid muscles, and the intrinsic muscles which comprises of a lot of muscles for like cricothyroid, arytenoid, thyroarytenoid, vocalis muscles, etc. Out of the muscles of larynx, only cricothyroid is derived from the fourth arch and the other muscles of larynx are derived from the sixth arch. Talking about the muscles of palate. The palatal muscles include the tensor palatini, levator palatini, palatopharyngeus and palatoglossal muscles, out of which the tensor palatini is derived from the first pharyngeal arch and the rest of the palatal muscles are derived from the fourth arch. Coming to the pharyngeal muscles, which include stylopharyngeus, salpingopharyngeus and palatopharyngeus. All the muscles of pharynx are derived from the fourth arch, excluding the stylopharyngeus muscle, which is derived from the third arch. The middle ear muscles comprise of tensor tympani, which is derived from the first arch, and the stapedius muscle, which is derived from the second arch. Also noticing the digastric muscle. The anterior belly of the digastric muscle is derived from the first arch, and the posterior belly of digastric is derived from the second arch. As discussed earlier, the pharyngeal arches have four components. Coming to the nervous component, the first pharyngeal arch is supplied by the mandibular nerve. The second pharyngeal arch is supplied by the facial nerve. The third pharyngeal arch is supplied by the glossopharyngeal nerve. The fourth and the sixth pharyngeal arches are supplied by the vagus nerve. The vagus gives two branches, that is the superior laryngeal nerve which supplies the fourth arch and the recurrent laryngeal nerve that supplies the sixth arch. These are the post-traumatic branches of the respective pharyngeal arches. To explain this, let us take the example of the sensory and taste sensation supply to the anterior 2/3 of the tongue. Since the anterior 2/3 of the tongue is developed from the first pharyngeal arch, we know that the mandibular nerve supplies the sensory sensation to the tongue. However, the anterior 2/3 of the tongue also receives its taste sensation, which is a special sensation, from the chorda tympani branch of the facial nerve. Now, this is because the facial nerve, being the post-traumatic branch of the second pharyngeal arch, gives a branch, the chorda tympani, to form the pre-traumatic branch of the first pharyngeal arch. Similarly, the glossopharyngeal nerve, which is the post-traumatic branch of the third pharyngeal arch, gives a pre-traumatic branch of the second pharyngeal arch, that is the tympanic branch of glossopharyngeal nerve. The other pre-traumatic branches, that is of the rest of the pharyngeal arches, they disappear. Now finally, coming to the arteries that are derived from the pharyngeal arches. The first pharyngeal arch gives rise to the maxillary artery. The second pharyngeal arch gives rise to the stapedial artery. The third pharyngeal arch gives rise to the common carotid artery, the internal carotid artery and the external carotid artery. The fourth pharyngeal arch gives rise to the arch of aorta and the right subclavian arteries. And finally, the sixth pharyngeal arch gives rise to the pulmonary artery and the ductus arteriosus. Now we know how the pharyngeal arches are derived and what they give rise to. Thank you.